Welcome back to the Hot News Talk Radio Hour, 1240 a.m. It's Sabrena Realty Associates here talking everything real estate and community. We're back with my co-host Mark here.
Hello.
I want to talk about 8 things. This is a great article I found on the computer this week, actually on Realtor.com, and it's just 8 tips for anyone thinking about selling their home. These are 8 things they should not do. And number one, should or shouldn't do. Number one, they should leave. How many times does a seller want to linger around when those buyers are coming through with their agent to look at the home?
I know it happens more times than you would think.
And it's always a good idea to leave. Take your pets with you. Don't leave those pets there. Take those pets with you. Move your car. When people walk up or pull into your driveway, you don't want to have that car blocking the driveway or the sidewalk where they can't easily maneuver up to the front porch. It's also good to lay out important documents like the average utility costs and that kind of stuff. People always want to know, what does the electric bill run, the water run?
Right.
Exactly. Ideally, offer some refreshments. I don't always recommend this because you want people to look at the house. You don't want them to be distracted. But at an open house, it's always nice to have some cookies or brownies or something like that. And then sellers can't be greedy. They've got to be reasonable. They've got to listen to the professionals. They've got to rely on that expertise advice they're getting from the realtor they've hired. So these are just some ideas and things that sellers should keep in mind if they're thinking about putting their home on the market. And now for our next guest, I'm so honored to introduce Nancy Waddell here in the studio. Nancy actually works for Ethan Allen. And she just has just a gift when it comes to staging a home. She's very gifted at visualizing and making a room look good and just transforming it. I know that I called her in to help me one time on a listing I had, and Nancy came in, made some recommendations. They were very inexpensive recommendations. My seller didn't have to spend a lot of money. Nancy just came in and used her expertise, and we sold that house in 7 days. You remember that, Nancy?
It was fun, and it was really a point of pride that we managed to find a great buyer for that house so quickly. The seller was thrilled.
Yes.
So we work really well together.
And we've done a lot since then, because now you are working at Ethan Allen there on Gun Barrel Road.
That's right. I'm the design center manager. I have 4 designers there. They're very skilled, very sharp ladies, and we really have what it takes to help you move into the new home that you have, that Sabrena and her associates sell you. Take things that you already have and incorporate them with new product and really make that house your new home.
Now, if you were going with me on a listing today, Nancy, let's just say, what is some advice that you would give that seller on getting that home? Because presentation is everything. And that first impression can make or break that sale. It's everything.
It absolutely is. The very first thing that I would tell someone that wants to put their house on the market, or anybody that is a homeowner, is this very important point. The moment that you decide, I'm going to sell my house, that house is no longer yours.
Great point.
If you can sort of get a little divorce from your house in your head, and it's not so hard to do if you've only lived in that house for maybe 3 years or so. But if you've lived in that house for 25 years and you've raised children and you've had experiences, it can be very hard for a seller to stop thinking of that house as their sanctuary and think about it as property that they need to move.
Very emotionally attached, because they are thinking of all the memories they had with the kids growing up and everything. And that is great advice, because what I have found, when someone is emotionally attached to a house, that house is worth $100,000 more dollars to them than what the market shows that the house can sell for. So I think that is an excellent point you made, Nancy. What else could you advise?
Once you've decided, I'm selling my house, it's not my house, I'm seeing it as belonging to somebody else, then this is an important point. Rent a storage unit.
Yeah.
Rent a storage unit. Do it. And you don't have to have a huge one. You can get just a small one. But what you're going to do is you're going to empty out extra space in the house. Clean out that attic, the basement, the storage area in your house, closets that you're not using. Nothing is going to help a prospective buyer more than to come into your house, open that door, and see empty space in the closets, in the attic, because what they're doing is they're saying, wow, this is so much more spacious than I anticipated.
Yeah, that's great advice. And something else that does, that's like a win-win.
Yep.
Because when they declutter or pack up stuff or box up stuff or get rid of stuff, then that's going to make it that much easier when that home is under contract and you're closing and having to move. That's just that much less work you're going to have to do when you go to move.
And it's a radical move, but it will force you to begin to move things out of that house. And while you're doing that, as the third point, is get rid of things. Just go ahead and start. And again, if you've lived in that house for decades, it can be tough. But get rid of stuff. You're starting a new chapter of your life. Why do you want to take all that baggage with you?
Right.
And even if you can't bear to part with it right now, if you put it in the storage unit, you can deal with it maybe after the closing or, if you've got a quiet period. But just go ahead and begin to edit. And get a friend. If you've got a friend who loves to get rid of things and loves to clean and loves to declutter, bring him over, and let them mercilessly help you axe those things that have got to go. Yeah, because they'll help you do that. They're not emotionally attached. They have no problem throwing out those papers from third grade.
That's great advice.
So let them help you. Because again, you're making this transition and you want to get top dollar for your home and you want to sell it quickly, right?
That's true.
The two things that everybody wants. This, I think, is the best way to do that. Rent that storage unit. Load it up with those things. The very next thing they need to do, and every realtor will tell you this, is clean it.
Yes.
Scrub it. I'm talking on your knees with a little bitty brush.
Just clean the windows.
Clean the windows. Clean the light fixtures. Look up. Do you see cobwebs in the corners? Because most people, they come home from work, they go from the garage to the kitchen, to the bedroom, change their clothes, and they end up in the recliner for the rest of the evening. They really don't walk around the house and look at it the way a stranger would look at it. That's your realtor's job.
That's true.
That's right. Is to come in there and look at it the way the public is going to see it. Listen to what they tell you to do.
And coming up on that front porch and to the front door is the first impression. Like you said, clean the cobwebs. If you need to put a fresh coat of paint on that front door to give it some pop, make it look clean, make it look new, that's very inexpensive.
It absolutely is. And really, really all these tips are things you're going to invest a little money. You're going to invest some elbow grease and some time. It's going to take time to scrub that house, scrub that tile. Those doors under the sink, that cupboard under the sink, people are going to open all those doors and look at things. They're going to look at all those things. So you need to look at it the way they're looking at it. Put some fresh paper down under that sink. Just clean out all those little odd spaces. But most of all, just empty some of those cabinets out. If you've got off-season clothing, if it's your summer clothing, it's middle of February like it is now, take them out. Take them out so that people, the whole goal of all of this is that people need to be able to see themselves living in the space.
That's right.
They want to look at it like they could move right in, like a model home.
And you have to help them visualize. You would be surprised. Like you have a gift. You can go in and you can see automatically how to transform a house and you can see the potential. Yes. Not everyone can do that though.
And that's why it's so important to get somebody professional to help you. And, I really want to emphasize when you hire Sabrena and her staff to come in and help you get that house ready, do what they tell you.
Absolutely.
They're looking at it. And it can be, again, if your heart's all tied up in the house, it can be offensive.
Right.
That they think this is the grungy and that needs cleaning and you need to tear out that dead bush.
Right.
Do what they tell you because the goal is move that house and move on and get the top dollar for it. So this is what they do all day long.
Absolutely.
Is think about these things and learn about these things and read about them. So they're very, very proficient. So we're cleaning. We are outside. We're mowing, raking all leaves out from under shrubs and around the foundation. Pull out dead plants and bushes. Again, like Sabrena said, make sure the entrances are clean and fresh. Replace those light bulbs. I mean, many people don't even use their front door. So walk up, start on the sidewalk and walk up to your house. like a stranger, like someone who's never been there before, and see what they see.
And fresh mulch is so inexpensive.
Yeah, it's $2 a bag. So that can make a really, really big difference. Let's get on to furnishings. So once you cleaned, once you've gotten rid of the excess stuff and put it in the storage unit that you rented, then another thing that you must do, and I think this is super important.
Yeah.
You've got to remove personal effects, photographs.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. The photos. And people have the hardest time doing this because they're proud of them. They're proud of their kids. They're proud of the daughter's wedding picture. They're proud of their photographs. And there's such a movement to frame tons and tons of photos. Take them down, because buyers have a very, very difficult time envisioning themselves living in that space if that family is all over the walls and all over every surface. I have literally been, and I'm living in my fourth home in, I don't know, 3 decades, something like that. And when we were moving here, I was aware of these principles, and I walked through homes where there were literally maybe 800 framed photos on 3 different levels. From the minute I walked in, I could not picture myself living in that house. And not surprisingly, that house had been on the market for a while because neither could anybody else.
And you know what I find, Nancy, when there are family photos out, that buyer's coming in and they're looking at those photos, and that's where their focus is. They're not even looking at the home or the floor plan or envisioning their furniture in the living room. What they're looking at that picture, and they're thinking, do I know anybody that lives here? And so it's such a distraction.
It sure is. And they from the minute they start seeing those things, they think of that house as belonging to someone and not available to them. So it's very important. Another thing to think about is, if you are a vibrant Christian and you've got crosses, everywhere, and you've got scripture verses on the wall and all those things, you really need to remove all those things. Same if you're a Muslim or Hindu, you need to remove all of those symbols. And the reason is because you really want the house to be as neutral as possible and appeal to a wide variety of buyers.
Yeah, it needs to be neutral territory.
It really does. And again, remember, it's not your home anymore. It's not your home anymore. So pack up anything that would suggest who's living there. Now, it's okay to have rooms that are kind of obviously children's rooms, that kind of a thing. Now, it would be a good idea if you packed up about 90% of those toys. But because toys are a big issue today. People seem to have so many more than they used to. But the whole goal, again, is to make that space just as neutral as possible, just as move into as possible, so that someone, as they walk through your home, can visualize themselves living in your space. It doesn't look like it has belonged to a specific person.
Right.
That's what that is the thing that's going to help a buyer see themselves in the home the quickest.
One thing that I find, and it seems to be pretty prevalent around here, is that 90% of sellers or homeowners don't use their garage to park in. It is a storage facility.
It's incredible. Yeah,
I would say 90%.
Yeah.
And, as probably a garage is not going to be the key selling feature of a home. However,
it helps.
If someone's got a big Suburban in a big Cadillac or something like that, they have to be able to see the space that's in that garage and know that they can park both vehicles in there. Sure. And it's hard to tell that sometimes when it's stacked to the ceiling.
All those possessions tell a story about who's living there. And if all your sporting things are out there and there's just boxes and boxes and all that stuff, again, it's very difficult for that prospective buyer to see themselves moving in. And that's what you need. And remember, you've already moved out in your head. You've already moved on. It's not your house anymore. So, and look at it the way, if you were shopping for your house, would you want to buy it?
Exactly.
Where would you put your things? Where, the cupboards are crammed, the closets are crammed, the, garage is full of stuff. You can't get your car in there. And, there's pet bowls, all over the place. You really need to, kind of wipe those things out. And that's what is so important about removing all of those things. It sounds like a lot of work. The goal is moving that house quickly. So it's going to pay off in the long run.
You just touched on something. You said pet bowls, and that just triggered to mind when you go in a home and there's an offensive smell or something like cigarette smoke or, a pet smell, something like that. What do you recommend?
Well, excuse me. I would think cleaning the carpets, deep cleaning the carpet is going to help a lot. Yes, clean the ducts, clean that, paint.
Fresh paint,
fresh
clean those
paint.
drapes.
I really want, I think the best thing, because people have all sorts of ideas about baking brownies or
Right.
room freshener.
Light the candle.
The closer it smells to nothing, the better.
Right.
Or I'd rather just walk in and smell fresh paint.
Right.
And I've got some paint choices that, I often recommend. Shaker Beige, Bleecker Beige by Benjamin Moore, or Sandbar is another good one from Sherwin-Williams. Ethan Allen really recommends, several varieties of different companies of paint that we all like. But those are some very good neutral colors with fresh white trim. Anybody could move into that house. One thing that when I do help people stage houses, I haven't done it really at all since I became the manager at Ethan Allen, but they'll say to me, we're going to paint our dining room egg yolk yellow because we saw it on HGTV. Folks, no. And if your house is like 7 different colors downstairs, red and blue and all these different, you really need to neutralize that. One neutral color throughout it all with fresh white trim. Anybody can see themselves moving into that.
That's excellent advice. And, we are such a busy society now.
Yes.
Life is so demanding. We're go. And a big turnoff to potential buyers when they walk in a home and they just see all this work.
Oh,
they are just overwhelmed.
They are.
With all the work. And like you're saying, if you have a nice neutral color,
that's right.
It's very clean,
yes.
Smells very clean.
Goes with everything.
Then it just seems so easy.
Oh, absolutely.
Because all they have to do is move in and they're ready to go. And they can add their own colors, their own personality.
Yes, they can.
So, and those are inexpensive ways to get your home ready for the market too. We talked a little bit last week about getting your home ready for the market.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many cost-effective things you can do. It's just like, with the market being like it is right now, and it's still a buyer's market. I'm not going to go into a home that's an older home and the people have lived there, like you indicated, 20 or 30 years and say, hey, we've got to tear out the bathroom, redo the flooring and bring in granite countertops, a new vanity and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to make those kind of recommendations because they're not going to get that money back.
That's right.
But if they can put on a fresh coat of paint.
That's right.
Put a nice drape up or something like that, or a blind.
Even just blinds would be a great idea. And even just, if you come in and say you really should replace the carpet in these 2 rooms, it's not terribly expensive to do that. The goal would be, it would be fresh and clean. So, long story short, you just do what listen to your realtor. And if you follow their recommendations, it really is going to help you reach your goal.
Right.
A whole lot quicker.
Right.
A whole lot quicker.
Now you guys have an event coming up too, don't you?
We do at Ethan Allen on Gun Barrel Road. We've been in business for 11 months. Thrilled. It's a beautiful shop. This Saturday, we have done the HGTV Dream Home. If you go to Google HGTV Dream Home, Ethan Allen has furnished that home this year, and we are doing a workshop this Saturday, February 13th, from 10 to 12 noon. It's called Your Dream, Your Muse Design Workshop. You can call for reservations, and we're filling up fast, so call. We're going to be talking about latest design trends in your home and how to incorporate them and ideas, gleaned from the dream house.
Now, is there a charge for this event?
No, this is a free event.
And it's going to be at Ethan Allen?
At Ethan Allen.
Wow.
Barrel is right next to Bonefish in the old Coldwater Creek space.
Oh, yeah. It's easy to find. Very conveniently located.
And it's just call for reservations. It's 423-894-4456.
And so that will be this Saturday.
This coming Saturday. That's right.
Well, that's great. So any one thing about putting their home on the market, this may be a great opportunity to come and get some free professional advice.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, let me tell you, we are having, and you need to come to this, Nancy, we are having a seminar. And this is going to be a seminar that's targeted for any new buyers.
Good.
Any one thing about investing in real estate, even as an investor.
Well, and I don't know if you know this, I actually own rental property too. So I
wow. And so, we're going to be having a seminar. We're actually partnering with People's Home Equity, Bruce Dodd over at People's Home Equity. And we're going to be at the Hickory Valley Retirement Center. Over at 6705 Ballard Drive there in East Brainerd. We're going to be doing this on Thursday, March the 3rd. From 11:30 to 1, and it's going to be a lunch and learn. And we're going to be offering advice for any new home buyers, any investors, and also for any seniors that may be thinking about downsizing and putting their home on the market. You know, a lot of people are wanting to go to a townhome or a condo and just simplify living
right.
and upkeep. And so this will also be a seminar for those people, but this would be great for you to come.
That's right, because we do a lot of that when people come in and say, I just don't know where to start. And our designers can really help them edit their product, but also they often have, needs. They need a new bed, they need a new chair, and they can fill in with our product and make it all look seamless together.
Well, since my husband's here with us, I want you to give him some advice because my husband likes to hold on to everything about you.
Okay.
Maybe you can tell him how important it is not to clutter.
No, well,
Guilty as charged.
are you guilty as charged? Well, you're again, just have that friend or your wife, come in and just say, really, do you really, really want to save this? And
Right.
how are we going to store this? Because you're only going to accumulate more. So go through it. If it's really valuable or sentimental, there are ways to preserve certain things. But honestly, if you haven't touched it, if you haven't worn that sweater in 2 years, you're never going to wear it again. If you haven't used that object, if you can't remember the last time you did something with it, you don't need it.
And take it to Goodwill or something. That's a great
right.
cause, and
That's
you can
right.
write that off on your tax
Yes, you
return.
can. You sure can. So
And help someone in need all at
and
once.
one last point that I think I think you might appreciate is, if your heart has been tied up in your place for a while, if people are objecting to, they don't like this, they don't like that, they complain about, the things that's on your house, that's good. Those are buying signals.
That's true. Well, Nancy, for anyone that's wanting to get in touch with you, what is the best way to get in touch with you? Because you're an expert, and I know they would want to talk to you directly.
Just call me at Ethan Allen, 423-894-4456.
Say that one more time.
423-894-4456. Again, we're right next to Bonefish in the old Coldwater Creek space on Gun Barrel.
And do you guys have a website?
We do. You can just go to ethanallen.com and look for locations. Type in Chattanooga and up will pop.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you, listeners, for joining us. We'll be here again next Tuesday from 11 to 12. Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., brought to you by Sabrena Realty Associates with your hosts, Sabrena and Mark. And for anyone thinking about selling your home or buying a home, call us. We have a great team. We have some great professionals that have been in the industry a long time that love to hear from you. You can reach us at 423-499-7780. That's 423-499-7780. And give them our website, Mark.
It's SabrenaRealty.com. And the key is spelling Sabrena, Sabrena. So SabrenaRealty.com, and also on Facebook.
Thank you so much. And we'll join you back here next Tuesday from 11 to 12 on 1240 a.m. Hot News Talk Radio, brought to you by Sabrena Realty Associates. Have a great week.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin